Hey, what's up, everybody? We're ready to go here. It's your boy Soto with the Autumn Windbags. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Let's see what we got going on here today. A lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to get right into it. I don't have a lot of, I got some stories to tell, but nothing too crazy. I will say this. I just had a Vietnamese iced coffee this morning. And let me tell you, if you guys have never had a Vietnamese iced coffee, those things are high octane, bro. High octane. Way different than anything else I've ever had. I've had them before, but man, if you're sluggish, if you need to pick me up, Vietnamese iced coffee is the way to go. Before we get started, first I want to thank everybody for listening and watching and subscribing. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell everybody you know, all your friends, all your enemies, all your haters, your mamas, all that stuff, your neighbors. Make sure you tell everybody Autumn Windbags is where it's at. Nice little mix. Who are the Autumn Windbags? Just two fans who know football, who like to talk, who like to share. It's two regular guys, like the bullshit. So, a lot of stuff happening in football the last few days, and we're going to get to all of it. Make sure that, as always, you got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm reading some of the comments. Sorry, but if you want some comments, something put up on the screen we could talk about. If it's on topic or you want to start a new topic, we'll go from there. I can't guarantee I can get to all your topics, but I will do my best. So let's go. Big news. And it's appropriate that Max Crosby, our very own Max Crosby, signs a 4-year extension with 98, almost 99 million bucks. Let's just call it 100, okay? What the heck? What the heck's that extra million? 53 million guaranteed. You know, if you talk to any athlete, especially in football, the guaranteed money, it's where it's at. Guaranteed $53 million. On the 2nd year anniversary of his sobriety. So excellent job, Max Crosby. Well deserved. You are a cornerstone of this defense. You're a building block of this defense. Definitely a piece that we can build on, and we need to see that trajectory still keep going up. So first question to you guys is, who's next? Main thing I want to talk about right now, with Crosby signing a big deal, one thing that a couple people that I've talked to, RJ being one of them, is he prefers the steady pressures over the flashy sack numbers. I don't. I don't think that you can get a lot of sacks without first creating a lot of pressure. So what I would like to see next year, because now you're the man. Crosby is the dude. He is that guy now. He's making the big boy money now. He's making the 25 mil a year money, right? Big boy money, big boy expectations. Remember, guys, I want to be very clear about this. Everything in life starts with your expectation of it. Okay? If you go in with high expectations and you work towards those expectations, even if it doesn't work out for you, you know that you did your best, because you know to get that result, to get that high expectation result, you have to put your 100% into it. So if you put 100% into it and it doesn't work out the way you want it to, you'll be able to live with that a lot easier than if you half-ass it and it doesn't work out, because there'll always be that what if. A lot of people like to half-ass and then, it didn't work out because, I didn't really try, or, this and that, or whatever. No more excuses, guys. Commitment to excellence. Remember that. And burn that into your memories, guys. Commitment to excellence. So what do I want to see from Max Crosby moving forward? I want to see the sack numbers go up without a huge drop in pressures, because honestly, you can't get sacks without getting pressures first. And we have seen, take a look at week 18 last year, Justin Herbert completed a lot of passes when he was under pressure. Just because you pressure a quarterback, and we have 3 that don't mind pressure in our division. Those 3 quarterbacks don't mind getting pressure because they'll still hurt you under pressure. If you grab them, throw them on the ground, there's no chance of them making the play. Okay? So we see here, that's right, Gun Nerd, Juan in the house. What's up, man? Fresno in the building. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, homegrown talent. That's the way you build, man. You draft the guys, you pay the guys, and you keep drafting more, man. That's what you got to do. We got to vote for Carr probably next. Renfro probably next. Yeah, man. Really happy for Crosby, man. That's really big for him. So that's who's next. I don't know. I think I really do think that this regime is going to show their dedication to Derek Carr. And I think that he's going to be the next guy to be extended. That's just my feeling. I think that the Crosby thing was something that was done on purpose on the anniversary of his sobriety. I think just kind of a symbolism. And it was a very cool thing too. I'm very happy for Max, man. I'm very happy. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. If you guys follow him on social media, if you don't follow him, Like, give the man a follow. This dude he's really chill. The same chill guy that you see. He's a real dude. He's got some kick-ass dogs. He likes to hang. He likes to kick it. No drinking, no partying, none of that stuff. But he does go out and have a good time. So we talked about what I'm looking for in Crosby moving forward. What are you guys looking for in Crosby moving forward? Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that moving forward as well. Now, there has been some breaking news, and I want to talk about it and how that affects the Raiders. Dallas has traded Amari, or they're finalizing a trade for Amari Cooper, which won't be finalized until next Wednesday, I think it is, or Thursday, something like that. The 16th, which is the day that the league year starts. So Dallas trades Amari Cooper and a 6th round pick. Basically, they're swapping 6s with Cleveland for a 5th and a 6th. So basically, Cleveland is given a 5th, and they're swapping their earlier 6th for Dallas's later 6th, and they're getting back Amari Cooper and Amari Cooper's $20 million contract. Now, why is that important to the Raiders? Dallas is in the NFC, so them losing a player like that isn't a huge deal. Cleveland is in the AFC, and they were in the playoff hunt. They were one of the teams we had to leapfrog towards the end of the year. So them getting a true number 1 receiver, it's just more playmakers in the AFC. We've seen that earlier this week. We're going to talk about all the big trades and all that stuff. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So it's just more playmakers coming into the AFC. What do you guys think about that? How do you think that's going to affect us moving forward? The main thing I want to focus on right now is how this affects us. Soft focus, Soto. What does that mean? Please elaborate, sir. So Russell Wilson to Denver. That happened earlier this week for a boatload of picks. 2 1s, 2 2s. They get back, I think it was a 4, and Russell Wilson. And they sent off 3 starters. Denver sends off 3 starters. Okay. At a snapshot, it can be argued that the Raiders now have, talent-wise, the 4th best roster in the division. Now, pure talent isn't everything that's needed to win in football, in any sport, really. But sure, it's a good building block. We talked about playmakers and playmakers coming into the division on the other teams. Definitely, Russell Wilson is a playmaker coming in, regardless if you feel he's on the incline, if he's plateaued, or if he's on the decline. Russell Wilson's the best quarterback currently, right now, right this second, that Denver has had since John Elway. They had a shell of a Peyton Manning who really, I mean, you even see his numbers weren't all that great when he was with Denver. But Russell Wilson definitely does have some tread left on those tires. It's something that needs to be addressed. How do we address it? We keep our talent. We get pressure, and we build a better team, man. That's all we got to do. Now, another thing that happened is Khalil Mack. I always liked Khalil Mack. We don't really know exactly what happened. There's rumblings at the time going on that Mack didn't want to play for Gruden. He got rubbed the wrong way. He wanted a huge extension. He wanted more money. He wanted this, whatever. We don't know exactly what happened. What we do know is that there have been reports that Mark Davis was a little cash strapped at the time and just didn't have the cash to put in an escrow account to give Khalil Mack the guaranteed money he was looking for. That's one piece of that puzzle. What I say to that is, I mean, you have 2 franchise years. If you really wanted to keep the guy, you could have franchised him a couple years until that Vegas deal went through and you got more cash flow. You could have still kept him if you really wanted to. Now, the haul that we got for him was great. You should have weighed the picks, but that's neither here nor there. Khalil Mack is back in the division with the Chargers. Him on one side, Joey Bosa on the other. That's going to be a little bit rough. We saw what a pass rush specialist in Unique Ngakoue did to help Max Crosby, not to diminish his effort and his skill set, but having someone on the opposite side who also draws attention did help him as well. So it is something that we have to think about. We do have to shore up that offensive line. There are reports that the Raiders have been talking to Dallas about La'el Collins, who's a right tackle, who's a pretty good right tackle. It makes a pretty good amount of money too. It makes about $15 million a year. If we do go that route with an expensive veteran right tackle, it would be smart to extend him a few years so the cap hit isn't as big. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? La'el Collins, what would compensation be? I mean, maybe a late pick, probably a 5th, something like that. That's what we got for Gabe Jackson. Maybe a 4th or a 5th, something like that. I mean, I'm not too comfortable having to give away that much draft. That still in this draft, a 4th round pick is a good pick. I would give away probably a 5th because that's a pretty hefty contract. We would have to sign some kind of extension to ease up that cap hit for La'el Collins if it were to happen. But we do need to shore up that offensive line for sure. That's one thing we need to do. Now, that got me thinking. Stars. We need stars, right? We need playmakers. We need big-time players, big-time stars. I would rather see us have, 3 on each side. It's tough. Taking my Raider glasses off and looking at our defense. We have 1 star on our defense, and that's Max Crosby. On our offense, who do we have that's a star? Darren Waller is a star. He's a top, top handful, top 3, 2, 3 tight end in the league. Other than that, I don't know that we have too many. We have good players. I'm not sure how many stars we have, how much star power we have, how many playmakers we have. We need more playmakers, especially for us with the division of the quarterbacks in our division. We need a lot more playmakers on the back end of our defense. Not to say that Hobbs and Murray can't develop, but those are guys that are going to be complementary pieces until they prove that they're stars. We're looking at playmakers and stars right now. We are lacking in playmaking ability. Let's see here. First comment of the day from my good buddy Bob. Bob, I'm telling you, Bob Rutherford, Bob, if you're still here, Bob has been like an OG list, like one of our first subscribers, like the very first one. Like when we were like digging the ground for the foundation of the Autumn Windbag, I think Bob was the first one to submit an application to be a subscriber. So Bob, he says, I really enjoy your solo videos. Keep them up. Much better than hearing you and RJ argue for an hour. That's hey, he's here. What's up, Bob? All right, freaking Bob's the man. Yeah, I don't know. Some people like to hear us. Another Bob post. Russell Wilson is no diva. Yeah, some people are fine with losing. I like people who don't like losing. No, I don't appreciate it. My quarterback is happy losing. Well, I don't think that anyone can say that Carr is okay losing. I just think that Carr probably is more behind the scenes type of guy. I don't think he's really out there. I don't think he's going to put a lot of stuff out on social media. I don't think he's going to communicate to the team through social media. What's up, Pharaoh, man? What's good? The problem that I see is with the perception. And Bob touched on it right there when he says, I don't want a quarterback that's okay with losing, or I don't appreciate my quarterback being okay with losing, is the perception can be there that Carr is okay with losing because he's not very vocal. I like my quarterback to be a little bit more fiery. I like them to be a little bit more vocal. I like them to really stand up for themselves, and stand up for the team, because ultimately they're the ones on the field, and they're the ones that know what this team needs. When you're a quarterback in the NFL, you've been on winning situations in the past, whether it be in college or high school or whatever. You know what it needs for a winning team to be constructed. You've been on winning teams before. And the main thing is you need dogs. You need dogs up front, and you need playmakers out wide, both sides of the ball. Cool thing is, there are playmakers to be had this year, whether it's a free agency or in the draft, and we're going to look at some of that stuff today. Gunner, we so desperately need a stud defensive tackle. That addition alone will help the entire defense. I agree. And Bob says, RJ said Wilson lost 1 year and left, but Carr keeps losing and hasn't left. So I agree. So what? You have to look at trajectories. In this case, you give away 2 picks for a safety. If you're Seattle, 2 first-round picks for a safety that doesn't really, you don't surround him with anything much else in that secondary. He's really the only star piece in that secondary or on that defense, other than Wagner, who you just ended up cutting yourself. So it seems like a busted trade, The issue that we're running into, like I said, is Carr's not very vocal, and that's like, oh, he's okay with losing. I think Carr desperately does want the Raiders to win. He wants to win here. He's grew up in the Fresno. He grew up in Houston early in his career, but he was from the Central California, the Fresno area. He went to college in Fresno. He was local. He's a California guy. He wants to win. He wants the Raiders to win. He wants to win with the Raiders. And I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate the fact that He basically, it's not in his personality to kind of like air his dirty laundry, you know? One thing I will say is this, and this told me a lot about Derek Carr as a person. You can tell a lot about a person about how they treat and what they teach their kids. So there was like a few years ago, there was a piece done on Derek Carr and his home, his wife, and he had two young sons at the time. They were really young. His sons were playing on a little Fisher Price basketball, right? And the older son took the ball away from the younger one and scored a basket. Derek Carr says, "Okay, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to cry about it, or are you going to get the ball back? Come on, keep trying." And that's something that's you can tell a lot by how someone instills these lessons to their kids or to people who they're, let's say, if they're someone's boss or if they're in a position of authority or a mentorship, something like that. I don't think he's okay with losing. I don't think he's okay with excuses. I don't think he's okay with ineptitude of the front office. I think it really bugs him, and I think that's what I don't think he's okay with is negativity, just for the sake of negativity. That's why I think he gets a little block happy on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't think he's okay with losing. Let's see here. Titus Flavius says 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fifth, and 3 players for Wilson. What is Deshaun Watson worth? And that brings me to my next point. I am not blocked. I'm nobody, bro. He don't know where the hell I am. Plus, I don't really talk a lot of crap on him on social media. I don't talk a lot of crap on him on this show. So I mean, I try to tell the truth. I try to be direct, and I try to give my opinion. But I don't say he's trash, he's garbage, and all this stuff. Ryan Campbell with a $5 super chat. Fertilization for a better camera, Soto. What? It's a good camera. What the hell? We'll see. I got a better camera just for you. So another big news happened a couple days ago. Deshaun Watson was not criminally charged. He may still be facing league suspension. He's flat out stated he will not play in Houston again. All right. So Houston's at an impasse. What are they going to do? Do they have trade suitors? They do have teams that are looking into Deshaun Watson. How can a team structure a deal to get Deshaun Watson and not be super burned if he ends up getting suspended? I'll tell you. The team that's been rumored the most. God damn it, it's not a potato, son of a bitch. How are we doing? Is that better? I'm gonna try this again. Whatever. Deal with it, bro. I'm not that good looking anyway. A lengthy suspension is by giving conditional draft picks. If a player plays a certain percentage of the team's offensive snaps, if they play 75%, it's a first round pick. If they play 50%, it's this round pick, right? That's how a team can protect themselves. But it is going to have to be a 2023 pick. So my guess is he is going to get suspended for at least 8 games. That's my guess. That's about, half a season. Roethlisberger had a, sexual abuse allegation against him. Was one chick, and he got 4 games or 6 games, something like that. This is like 22 of them, so this is a lot. Now maybe they didn't have enough. I don't want to talk the legalities of this because there's a lot of different reasons why the grand jury didn't want to go through criminally with this. Civilly, it's just not a good look for the league because it's a lot easier to convict someone civilly than criminally. It's just not a good look. So why does that affect the Raiders? It affects the Raiders because if Deshaun Watson gets flipped over to the NFC, that's one less huge playmaker in the AFC. And it's a Deshaun Watson going to a team that's not in the AFC, potentially taking a playoff spot. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? We're going to talk a little bit about free agency coming up. I did a little bit of homework on some guys. Now, there's a lot of guys out there. I just picked a couple. During this time of year, I don't like to talk specific names. I like talking positions, and I'll tell you why. My big thing, players, playmakers. Okay, when I say players, I mean playmakers. We need playmakers. We need playmakers on our team. We need more playmakers on our defense, and we definitely need more playmakers on our offense. Last year was a good steadying year. We were able to look at our team and our players with steadying influence on the defense, a very basic defense where the players can go out and just play, and we can see what kind of player do we have without someone being running around confused with it like a chicken with their head cut off, right? Can this person play in the NFL? And we've seen there's players on our team that can play. Now, the issue with our defense was it wasn't very conducive to creating turnovers, to creating matchup problems, to confusing defenses. It was very basic, very vanilla, which if you're patient enough and, creative enough, you can beat that defense. Go ask Andy Reid. So moving forward, Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, has stated that he wants, you give me playmakers and I'll build you a good defense. You need playmakers, man. You need guys. Having these, lunch pail guys, those are great, but you also need the flashy guys too. You need them all. You can't just have the lunch pail guys. So one of the comments we got initially was Dutch Master 710. Can you talk about how Mayock set this team back and not excuse his terrible job in drafting free agency because he hit on a couple of fifth rounders that played above expectations? Okay, definitely talk about that. And if you want to look in the archives, there's a video that we talked about why Mike Mayock was fired. Basically, there's a few reasons why. Mayock was brought in by Gruden. Gruden is no longer here. Mayock was not brought in as a true GM. He was brought in basically to be a kind of just a scout type of guy. And Chris Gruden was the final decision maker. Okay, was he influenced by his coaching staff and by Mayock? Of course, but he was the final decision maker. Now, the problem that Mayock had was his high-profile moves blew up in his face. His first-round picks and his first-day free agent signings, like the big free agent signings, just didn't do well, man. What we have to look at is you hitting on the late-round picks should be a supplement to what you do early in rounds. It shouldn't be to replace your misses in the early rounds. And that's what a lot of people, including RJ, sometimes don't focus on. Just because you hit on late guys doesn't mean, okay, it's okay that you didn't hit on early guys. Hitting on late guys, that's okay, great. You hit on late guys, fine, but you can't build a dynasty hitting on late guys. You still got to get your horses in the first couple of rounds. The early picks still got to have to do well, and you have free agency for a reason. You have free agency to plug holes, to get guys that have played in the league and know their production, to plug holes that you have on your roster, and those guys have to produce it well. Now, are they going to be 100%? No, they're not going to be 100%. But you can't be as bad as Mayock has been in the first few rounds and in free agency big name free agency. A lot of his flyer picks, a lot of his like late round picks, and a lot of the 1-year wonders kind of guys, they've been good pickups. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you have to do a better job of those big time free agents like Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkowski. Like, dude, what the hell, man? Carl Nassib did a good job, but he's getting paid way too much. Like that was just trash signings. I don't even want to go on down the list because it just makes my stomach hurt. Ryan Campbell, another $5 super chat. I don't get all this buzz about Colts trading for Carr. They don't have a first round pick to trade. Why would the Raiders do that? I agree. They don't have the capital. They traded the capital last year to get Wentz. If you had a first round pick, maybe that would be feasible, but you don't have a first round pick. I wouldn't do it. Now, how would that trade work? If you send over players to supplement this first round and take some of the salary, okay, that's one thing. And then give us first round picks in the future. Okay, then that may work, but they have to be hell of a players. They have to be some top notch players if you're getting a starting quarterback. But I don't think that the Raiders are going to move on from Carr. I really don't. Who knows? Well, who knows? But I personally don't think that Mick Ziegler would come to the Raiders to start over unless someone just blew them completely away with the deal. Honestly, like we talked about in the last episode, RG and I don't know that the Raiders would trade away Carr unless they had another quarterback in the works on like some kind of either a 3-team deal or they had a if we do this, then we do that type of thing. All right, moving on. So in free agency, we need to go big game hunting, guys. In free agency, I've always been a big proponent of this. Free agency, you need to do big game hunting, and you need to go, scavenging for like twigs and berries. Like you need to go with the big game and then get your fruits and vegetables, right? Like really nothing in between. Those in between guys, normally, not all the time. If you're trying to build up, normally those types of teams that are trying to ascend up, they overpay for those middle guys. Now, if you're like a high top team, like let's say like a championship, like the Rams just won a championship, or like the Bucks last year, you're gonna be able to sign middle tier, maybe upper middle tier guys for a deal because they want to win. They're ring chasing, right? If you're trying to get to that point, those middle tier guys, they're gonna overpay for those guys. So you're better off saving some of that money and go big game hunting on the top elite players, and then fill your roster with those studs and duds. Now, not to say that the low price guys are going to be duds, but just, it rhymes and it sounds cool. So studs and duds, and some of those duds, like our defense, basically all of our defensive tackles from last year ended up studding out for us. Let's see. At Soto, the chat is from other YouTubers is thrown in Buckner. Plus, all those picks only if the Raiders can get Watson 3-team trade. Jack, I agree. I don't see the Raiders moving on from Carr without in the end getting a starting quarterback. And this starting quarterback needs to be a player. Say it with me, everybody. We need players. We don't need players. We need players. Playmakers on our team. That's what we need. Okay. So big game hunting. How do we go big game hunting? You look at a couple of things. You look at production, you look at years, you look at history, injuries, all that stuff. That's what you look at, and positions of need. So let's take a look moving forward. Now, this 4-3-3-4 thing that people are throwing out about Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, that's old. I don't know that anyone in the NFL nowadays runs a base 3-4 or base 4-3. Very, very few. Most of the time, you're going to see like a 4-2-5 or like a 3-3-5. It's like it's not. Just let me break it to you guys that way. All right. Most of the time you're gonna run a nickel defense. So what does that mean? That means you need secondary players because people are throwing more, People are shooting the ball down the field more, and even running backs are becoming more specialized in catching the ball. So, who are our players in the secondary? We have good players in our secondary who needed to make that jump, but right now we don't have any players in our secondary. We just don't. Sencal Grizzly Raider, I agree. It's not a complicated scheme. It's a simple scheme. It just switches the front switches between a 4-2 and a 3-3. That's all it is, and it's just to confuse the blocking schemes a lot of times. But the defense is not is going to be a lot easier to handle. Yeah, Jack, that's what they ran most of the time last year, honestly, and that's what they're going to run again. That's what Patrick Graham runs, either a 4-2 or a 3-3-4 or 3-3-5. Excuse me. That's what he runs. So what does that mean? We need more secondary help. Okay, let's start here. Lionel Castaneda. Abrams sucks and overplays all the time and gets hurt because of it. Let him go. Better safeties out there. Okay. That's a suggestion. The issue is you need to have a taker. If you want to get rid of Abram, you need to have a taker and you need to have a plan to replace him. I personally am not a huge fan of Abram, simply because Abram has shown me in his career, in his 3 years, 2 years playing, that he is not up to par in his coverage skills. I'm trying to be nice. I don't know why. Especially with the type of weapons that the other teams have in the AFC West, we need to have a safety that both our safeties need to be able to play the ball in the air. Unfortunately, that's not been Abrams' forte. Now, add a second layer to that cake. Patrick Graham, his safeties, he asks a lot of his safeties in his system. His safeties need to be able to be in the box safeties and be able to be out in coverage. Unfortunately, we've seen that Abram really isn't that multiple. He's really only a in the box kind of guy. Well, that's Richard Lyon. That's an interesting question. Number one, I don't know that he has the frame to be a linebacker. I think even though he's an NFL player, I don't think he's built that wide a framed. I don't know how much weight he can carry effectively. And he has injury concerns. 2 out of his 3 years, he's lost to season-ending shoulder injuries. Now, there are 3 places on your body as a football player you don't want to get hurt. That's your knees, your shoulder, and your neck. And the way that Abrams hits, shoulder injuries are going to be reoccurring. And it's tough moving forward, man. It's tough moving forward. Okay, well, that's like saying, William Merchant, I thought Abram covered well last year. He just could not locate the ball. That's like saying you shit well, but you couldn't wipe your ass. It's like you got to finish the deal, man. Like you got to finish the deal. Like covering somebody is great, but you don't locate the ball. You have third string running backs catching 60-yard touchdowns on you. Would get Marcus Williams. Well, there's a lot of guys out there. Abrams and Adams are very similar. Yeah, I agree. Adams got 2 1s. But Adams is better with the ball in the air. The issue that we're having here is who's going to want to take a liability in coverage who gets hurt a lot. That's the problem. Great, like we've heard it before. Like if you want to trade back in the draft, that's great, but you have to find someone to trade with you, right? Same thing as you want to move on from Abram, that's great, but you still have to find someone to take him. And if you want to kick in his 5th year, it's going to be almost $8 million. You don't want to give $8 million to a liability and coverage who has injury concerns. That's tough, man. That's a tough get. So it's going to be a tough haul for Abram. William Merchant, but is ball locating something that can be coached? If so, let's coach him up and ride with him. So there's a huge misnomer out there that players don't get good coaching until they get to the NFL. Abram has received good coaching. He played in the SEC, right? He's received good coaching throughout his career. You have to be able to implement it. Now, can he improve? He did improve in a simpler scheme, but locating the ball in the air, that's like, I don't know, man. Like that seems to me like Leatherwood's problem reaching in pass protection, excuse me. That's like simple day one, like basic stuff. Locate the ball in the air, find the ball. We can replace Abram easily by Gun Nerd. Easily, I don't know about easily because Abram was our second leading tackler on our team. He is a good tackler, and the way we used him last year was a beautiful job by Bradley. Basically made him a pseudo linebacker. But you saw what happened to him. He freaking hurt his shoulder again. Kimo from Kalihi. Belichick loved Abram. He praised him before the 2020 New England game. Belichick does not overpay for people. He does not overpay in trades. We will get probably nothing back from him. But if we do send him out and get something back from him, maybe a late round pick or something, I don't know. We'll see. Heard DJ Chark, Carlos Fuego. DJ Chark is in Las Vegas. This concerns me greatly. I like DJ Chark as a player. I don't like his injury concerns. He has injured. I don't think he's ever played a full season. That's a big concern of mine, guys. The best ability is availability. All right, let's move on. So, playmakers, big game hunting. So, my thing is wide receiver, offensive line are super deep. So is edge rusher, actually. They're super deep in this draft. So, I say in free agency, we look at a couple other areas. I want to focus on the secondary. I want to focus on our interior defensive line. All right. William, we'll get back to that. Greatest for life, we need defensive tackle. I agree, and we're going to get to that right now. So, first off, let's look at safety. So, I'm not a huge fan of Abram. A lot of injury concerns. I would like a veteran playmaker, right? At safety, kind of a general in the secondary to help Mayock along. Mayock is a very good player. Positionally, he's really good. I would like to see some more ball skills, right? Sign Campbell, draft Davis. If Davis, after that combine, we'll see how he does on his pro day. If his pro day is anywhere near as impressive as his combine, he ain't going to make it at 22. I'll tell you that right now. I bet you anything the freaking Chargers will take him at 20 and piss me off even more. Marcus May is coming off of a Achilles injury, bro. That's a tough one for me. Achilles injuries are tough. Let's see. Tark on a contract for $12 million. For $12 million for 1 year. Will he sign for that? Will he sign for more than that? Who knows? So let's look at these safeties here. So big time safeties. Tyrann Mathieu, Kansas City. Now the pros on Mathieu is he's an elite safety. He can play anywhere, inside, outside, in the box, out in space. Now, people say that he's had injury concerns early in his career. Let me give you a little bit of stat. Tyrann Mathieu has played in at least 94% of his team snaps in each season since 2017. Not total, in every season since 2017. So injuries really aren't a concern for Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. He's going to add talent to our team and also take talent away from a division rival, which is always a good thing. You double up, right? Now, the cons on Tyrann Mathieu, he turns 30 in May. Are you going to want to give him that much money on a long-term deal? Are you going to want to pay a 33-year-old Tyrann Mathieu the kind of money that you're going to end up paying him? Who knows? That's down the line, but that's something you have to think about. Okay. Marcus Williams from New Orleans. He was mentioned in the chat earlier today. So Marcus Williams at safety is another possibility at safety. The pros, he's young. His 26-year-old season is coming up. So young guy entering his prime. He allowed under 50% completion percentage against, which is excellent. He's a good run stopper, but although he's a good run stopper, he hasn't really shown the want to really be in the box a lot. He likes to stay out in space a little bit more. He's not really a get up and get your nose in the type a safety. He's not very multiple is what I'm trying to say, and that's what Graham is looking for. Can he be taught that? Sure. And Graham likes his safeties to be both playmakers in the box and out in space. That's the only knock you can see on him, but he's a young, good, exciting player. Those are my two safeties I'm looking at right now. As far as May, I'm a little bit rough on May because he's coming off of an Achilles injury. We'll have to see how he comes back from that. I'm not keen on giving a guy big money coming off of that kind of an injury. All right. Cornerback. In the words of Deion Sanders, when he was asked who needs corners in this draft, everybody needs corners. Every team needs corners. Who needs more corners? Everybody needs more corners, right? So Hayward's a free agent, probably not coming back. Mullins coming off of a season-ending injury. Hobbs is very talented, but young. Mayock is, again, talented, but we need more playmakers. We need more playmakers in our secondary. I cannot stress this enough. We need more playmakers in the secondary, all right? Taking the ball away is big, especially when you have the kind of quarterbacks we have in our division. So let's start off with Carlton David from Tampa Bay. Now, the pros on Carlton David is he's smart. He's a really smart, heady player. He can grasp any concept. He doesn't mind being left out on an island. He could definitely be a number one. Now, the cons is he's a little rough with speedy receivers. The problem with that is in our division, we have a lot of speedy receivers. You got Hill, you got Williams, you got Judy. That's going to be tough with straight line speed. If you don't do well with straight line speed, sometimes you're going to be put on an island in our defense. And if you struggle with straight line speed, that's going to be tough. All right. My pick, J.C. Jackson. Who likes J.C. Jackson? I like J.C. Jackson. J.C. Jackson from New England. Now, the pros on J.C. Jackson is elite coverage skills, right? Always in position, never out of position. He's like a prototypical playmaker in your secondary. Dude's had like 27 interceptions a lot in his career. Like he had 8 last year, 9 the year before. So it wasn't like people were afraid to throw to him. Like they knew who he was, and he still got his interceptions. Now, here's the con. No, I have Gilmore on here too. Here's the cons with J.C. Jackson. We've seen this record play a ton of times, and let me know if you've heard it before, okay? Bill Belichick drafts a corner late in the draft after teams have already passed on him a couple times, right? 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick, right? Belichick coaches the young corners up, gets whatever he can out of them. Those corners then leave, or he trades them for a lot of picks back, and they can sign a big deal somewhere else. And they leave to go somewhere else to make success. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. But I don't know that any of them have ever reached that level of success out of the Belichick system that they had in the Belichick system. So, how much of this production that you see from J.C. Jackson is his talent and abilities? And what's the sliding scale? How much is his talent and ability, and how much is being in that Bill Belichick system, which is basically like a cheat code in how to be in position? Because guess what? He cheats. So, good deal. We'll see. I agree. You can get Gilmore at a cheaper price, but man, I'm thinking you get more than one. Again, you get both of them. Figure out the money and make it work. But you need multiple playmakers on your defense in the secondary. You need to build a ball hawking secondary. Jack Kenna has a question. My question: if J.C. Jackson is that good and being young, then why is New England going to let him test free agency market? Money, money, money. This is Belichick's thing, dude. This is what Belichick does. Belichick finds corners in the mid to late rounds. He coaches them up, and then when it's their turn to get paid, if he can't get them paid early on to extend them and get them at a good price, he just lets them walk because he's comfortable in his ability to coach up another guy. That's just the long and short of it. He's been able to do it over and over and over again. William Merchant's been going off and off about defensive tackles. Let's see what we got here. If we get a good D tackle or two, we don't need to spend $20 million on a corner. Not necessarily. We still need to spend money in the secondary. The secondary is very important because we have seen that quarterbacks, especially in our division, can still make plays under pressure. Remember that. Remember that last drive, fourth quarter and overtime against Herbert last year in the last game. He was making plays and he was under duress and he was still making plays down the field. These guys are playmakers, guys. These guys are not regular, your average run-of-the-mill quarterbacks. These are top 10, top 8 quarterbacks in the league. They're going to make plays on you, even if you pressure them. You need to have the guys in the secondary. Let's see here. William Merchant also says, if we get a D tackle too, if we get a good on a cornerback, sign a defensive linebacker, and get possible. We'll see. I do have some D tackles on here as well. Fang, how come Patriots don't sign him? Belichick has a lot of confidence in his ability to coach up a corner that he had, a young corner to fill the spot. That's his thing. That's what he does. Let's see here. Javarius Ward from Kansas City, corner. Not afraid to be on the island. He's put on one-on-one coverage a lot in Kansas City's system. Holds up well. Young, again, he's entering his year 26 age season in 2023, so entering his prime. We're also going to if we sign him, we would take away a talent from a division rival and add it to our defense. Here are some of the cons. His durability is an issue. He's only played a full season once in his 3-year career, or his 4-year career. His other he's missed multiple games in 3 out of his 4 seasons. He's missed multiple games, so that's a little bit of an issue. He's going to come with a heavy price tag, and that price tag comes with only 4 career interceptions and 29 passes defensed in 4 seasons. So although he's a very good corner, the numbers really don't show it. Maybe, we'll see how many times he gets thrown to, but he is definitely a franchise player. Okay, those are the corners. Let's move on to defensive tackle. Defensive tackle we've been talking about here. Defensive tackle. I wanted to leave a little bit for the show, so I didn't do Calais Campbell. I didn't do Stephon Gilmore, but we're going to cover that in the show this week. Defensive tackle. Here's my thing with defensive tackle. Quarterbacks and offensive linemen, they're kind of getting savvy and they're getting better at handling pressure off the edges. Not 100% because, guys like Max Crosby, you've seen if you have a high motor and you're quicker than fast, quick off the ball, you're still going to be able to get there. But quarterbacks have shown that they're able to handle pressure off the edges a lot better than they're able to handle pressure up the middle. That's why a premium, if you can have a game wrecker at defensive tackle, that ruins game plans. So to your point, William, game plans, right? Sue is not going to play for the low. He already did that 1 year in Tampa Bay, and he didn't make it to the Super Bowl again. If he plays again, he's not going to play for cheap, I don't think. Another thing about disruptive defensive tackles. Disruptive defensive tackles keeps your linebackers' feet clean. They eat up double teams and sometimes triple teams. Helps your linebacker make the play either at or behind the line of scrimmage. Makes them look good. Cue tape to Aaron Donald and Corey Littleton. Aaron Donald made Corey Littleton look like a freaking stud. He was eating up triple teams all day, and Corey Littleton looked like a game breaker. All right. So Larry Ogunjobi from Cincinnati. Now, he's a big three technique, quick and explosive. He's about 305, 310 pounds. He's averaged 50 tackles and 5 sacks from the defensive tackle position since his rookie season, so his last 4 years. Now, that's a good production out of a defensive tackle. Now, the cons on him are he had a rough 2020. Are you willing to give him big money? His last 2 years have been really inconsistent. He did have 7.5 sacks last year, which is really good, something that we can use out of our defensive tackle spot. So he's a good building block. And it would be taking talent away from another playoff team in your conference. One that's kind of been thrown around there here and there is Akeem Hicks from Chicago. A little bit older, still a wrecker when he plays. Scheme versatility. He can play, in a three technique. He can play off in the inside and in a 4 down. But he's getting up there in years. He's going to be 33 in 2023, and he missed eight games last year. Akeem Hicks is a good player. My concern is this, especially with the linemen. Normally, linemen don't get better with age when it comes to injury concerns, and he missed the second half of the year last year with an injury. Big guys don't normally get better with injuries as they age. Would that bode well for us if maybe give him a lower contract? Who knows? But he is a big game wrecker. He is a big name still. He can help our defense, but there is that injury concern. Let's see here. Jack Kenna, follow-up question. You said New England could pick up defensive backs in the draft to replace J.C. Jackson. Then why can't Ziegler do the same since he was the guy picking those defenses for Bill? We don't have Bill Belichick developing these corners like he's been known to do. Can we do that? Of course he can. But yeah, that's what he does. He gets late round corners. He develops them. He makes them into stars and studs. He puts spotlights on them, and he flips them for picks. He gets compensatory picks when they leave in free agency, and he uses them for bargaining chips to make his team better. Linval Joseph on a 1-year prove-it deal. Wouldn't hate it. We've had a couple of guys on prove-it deals that worked out for us. But I want to play you. I like Hicks too. What would he cost? That's the thing. That's the rub. What is he going to cost? Jesse, welcome back, my man. If we keep Derek Carr, we would have to build that offensive line. If we have Watson, then we're okay with having a good offensive line. I think we would need a great offensive line either way. I think it's a priority for us to be able to do that. As far as cap space goes, if you can't figure out the cap, you need to find a new capologist. No sound. Can you guys not hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys hear me, or is Feng going deaf? Someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, cool. Sorry, Feng. It must be you. All right. I'm going to butcher this name. Folorunso Fatukasi. Okay. Pros. This dude, when you look up run stopper in the dictionary, if you guys remember what a dictionary is, that's this dude. He's a prototypical run-stopping defensive tackle. He's going to make the game a lot easier on your defense because he himself can wreck a game plan and make it really hard. Really? No sound? Again? How about that? How we doing? We back? Are we back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Moment, please. One moment. Good? We back now? All right. Okay. So the thing about spending money on an elite run stopper is, oh, William, I never lost you either, my man. So do you want to spend that kind of big time money on a 2-down lineman? I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think Graham is really into those specialty type guys. He's too multiple for that. Young, though, age 27 in the 2023 season. He doesn't do anything against the pass. And we've seen in our division, these guys like to throw the ball. I mean, Kansas City was the team that threw the ball on first down the most in the league. So having him on first down isn't going to do you much good. Okay, so close the video and reopen it. Yeah, we're good. All right. So what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? I think that Hefe Casey, you know what, man? This dude comes into my chats every freaking week, and he's all about football, so I can appreciate that. I hear other YouTubers say cut good. I disagree. He's only getting $4 million. As of right now, he's the best left guard, or right tackle on your team. Your thoughts? I would not put good at tackle. I think good is going to be a guard. So let's say Leatherwood would play. Now you have an open spot. Oh, God, no sound again? What the fuck? How's that? What's going on here? For those of you who have issues hearing me, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what's going on. Okay, how's that? God damn it! Don't quit trolling me, you motherfuckers. You know I'm gonna believe your asses. Okay, so now where was I? See, I'm easily distracted. Yeah, Denzel Good. I would put him at a guard spot. Now, with the guard spots up in the air, Good has shown that he can play either guard spot. I do like Good to be a swing player. He can still be a swing player even if he starts. That's the thing that's the issue that that RJ and I kind of a bone of contention that we have. He says, "Well, I like to keep Good." He being RJ, pronouns, pal. He being RJ saying, "I like to keep Good as a swing player on the offensive line because." Just in case we need somebody, he's a good swing player. Well, he could start and still be a swing player. That's my main objective here. So, is Alex Leatherwood more comfortable on the left side? If he is, then you can move Leatherwood to left guard, and you can have Denzel Good play right guard, which he has played before. Chemo, yes, John Feliciano is available. He's probably going to be a cap casualty with the Bills if he hasn't been already. I like John Feliciano. I don't know why we didn't re-sign him before. He was a really good player. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one to have. I think, but guys, listen up. If we do get Collins or an experienced right tackle, I don't know that the team is going to want to trust that right tackle position to a young player 2 years in a row. I think that the positives of moving Leatherwood to left guard are you're playing next to, Colton Miller, our best offensive lineman, which will help. You got him running around here with Smush Parker. I'm just kidding. That's a Colby line. You had him running around with Brandon Parker. Okay. So being against playing next to a better offensive lineman, that will help. Also, he has been used to playing on the left side. Simpson did improve. Can he be a good backup player if you sign him cheap? Yes. He did play a lot last season. He's a good, you still need backups. Okay. Did we franchise Brandon Parker? I don't know. I haven't checked. I don't want to check all that stuff right now while I'm here with you guys. The main thing I want to look at here is how can we upgrade this right tackle position? Knowing what I know in win now mode, I'm not sure that I would want to go ahead and trust that right tackle position to another rookie 2 years in a row. Because if he doesn't work out, what do you have behind him? Denzel Good has proven he is an okay, not really even a good right tackle. He's just an okay right tackle. He's better at a guard. I would go and get a starter veteran right tackle. That's what I would do. And in a perfect world, I would move Leatherwood to left guard. He's more comfortable with the left side. No more rookie right tackles, please. Yeah, me either, man. Let's get a veteran, a good veteran. Leatherwood, I hear a lot of the complaints out there. Well, Leatherwood wasn't good because he was playing on the right side. He used to playing on his left. Okay, great. Let's go over to move over to the left, have Denzel Good slide into the right, and get a right tackle in free agency to plug that hole. Now, what else do we got? We have a plethora of edge rushers, linebackers. There's good linebackers. There's a lot of wide receivers, some secondary help. Guys, there's a lot of playmakers in this draft. The thing about this draft coming up is there's not a lot of like elite talent at quarterback. There's not like that true number one quarterback. So people may think that, the talent in this draft is not as good. You're going to see that you're going to get a lot of good players going in the 4th and 5th round in this draft. Now, the order in which we get it, I don't care what we do. I just want playmakers. I want players on the outside, guys who can go up and get the ball and change games. Let's see here. Trent Brown might be an option. He'll come cheap, but I don't want him. Trent Brown, you've already shown me who you are, Trent Brown, by quitting on the team. You were a bad influence on our team with your attitude. Now I know he has a tie to McDaniels and all that. How much of a tie? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't like Gruden and the regime back then. It's a new regime now, but I don't know. If he comes cheap, I don't have a problem with it, but he should be on a tight leash. More so conduct wise, for sure. We have to hope and pray that the Chargers don't go after Davis. Yeah, you know what, man? I really do think that letting Joseph go, they're going to get Davis. I think that's what they're going to do. Chemo, I think Leatherwood would be better in a power blocking scheme. I agree. But he just needs to get better overall. That doesn't excuse some of the issues that he's had in his technique. Sign Trent for the Mack games alone. Yep. He shut out Mack pretty good. Leatherwood and Simpson need to hang out with Miller. They will improve in the power scheme. Yeah. We were playing two players that are backup players. We started the season with Leatherwood out of position. He's a guard, not a tackle. Plays better on the left side than the right. Simpson and Parker are not starting offensive linemen in the NFL. They're backup rotational players. So this year, our offensive line play should be a lot better. Yeah. Towards the end of the year, he was a lot better. Will he improve even more going into the left side of the line? That's the side that he's been more comfortable with. We never know. All right, guys. Let's see. We're winding down here. Anything else you guys want to bring up? I'm here for another few minutes. I don't want to make this one too long because no one watches it. I think our O-line coach upgrade is going to make everyone play better. I agree. Soto, is Carr better than Herbert right now? Better how? I need you to elaborate on that. There's a lot of ways to answer that. So while you're thinking about that, Jack Kenna has a question. Shark will be that playmaker, 6'4", 4'3" speed, and never had a real quarterback. Just facts. Carr's knack of making them better. Jack Kenna, take a look at Shark's injury history. Take a look at his games played in his career. It's pretty rough, man. And that has nothing to do with the quarterback. So check that out and then get back to me. Hopefully you get back to me before I'm off. Trent Brown is a good sign for an apology to Raider Nation and an incentive-based contract. Yeah, the thing is he's still 6'8", 340, 50 pounds. But other teams are going to want him as well. So it's not like we're going to be able to get him on the super dirt cheap. I mean, it's possible to bring him back. Dude, I'm like Vince McMahon, dude. You can cuss me out. You can go to the rival company. If you make my product better, I'll take you back. I may not pay you a ton of money, but I'll still welcome you back if you can make my product better. I take Chark for 12 mil or less. Guys, check out the injury history, man. Your injury history doesn't change just because your color of your jersey changes. Check that out. Jack Kenna, my 2 cents. Carr is currently better, but Herbert's ceiling is higher. Okay, let's take a look at that. I think that Carr overplays. I think Carr plays the position of quarterback better than Herbert when you look at everything that's involved. Pre-snap, handling the offense, protection, just headiness, his moxie, all that stuff. I think Carr plays the position better because he has more experience and he is very talented. I think that Herbert is more naturally gifted and talented physically and talent-wise than Carr, so his ceiling is a lot higher. As of right this second, I believe that Carr plays the position better, but Herbert is going to soon surpass that because his talent is just that much better. I agree. But the problem is we draft 22, and he has to get past 20 with the Chargers. Linval Joseph is gone, and they may pick him up. Agree with what, my man? Oh, about Carr and Herbert? Yeah. I don't think he disagree with that. Carr is RJ is normally when you put him on the right setting, he's actually very easy to talk to, but not when we are in a show. He likes to twist my nips a little bit. Let's see. Carr is a mobile guy and moves when needed. Carr commands the field better. Herbert is younger, and that's about it. Okay. That's about it. Now, Carr has Herbert has a much, his arm talent, that's that buzzword. His arm talent is just next level. And this is just, I'm talking about Herbert here. I'm not disparaging Carr's arm talent. That's how good Herbert's arm talent is he's just that much better. As good as Carr's arm talent is, Herbert's is that much better. So when you're starting with that much talent, you learning those tricks down the line as the quarterback will over the years will only make your quarterback play better. Jeff Garrison. But Jeff and Fang are like my two biggest I don't want to say nemesis because I love you guys both, but you're the two guys that roast me the most. Have you been here the whole time? We didn't talk about Carr until the very end. Someone asked me a question. Carr isn't better than Wilson. I think that Wilson, yeah, that's a tough one, man. I think Wilson is more accomplished than Carr. I think if you put Carr in those similar situations, it's tough to say because Wilson is a different skill set. He runs a lot more RPO action, and that opens up a lot of stuff down the field. So now, because Wilson can run more, he does open things up a lot more for himself down the field. So that's part of it. The different quarterbacks, I think, if you put them in a similar situation with similar teams, they're a lot closer than you think. Wilson is more accurate. Well, one thing you have to take a look at too, when you run a lot of RPO, you do get yourself a lot more easier throws, which can make the throws a lot easier and help you be more accurate. What do I expect from Hobbs, Mullen, and Mayock? Well, I expect Hobbs to not be an idiot and to learn from his teammates' mistakes and stop drinking and driving and being a dumbass. He's a playmaker in the making. I think that he can make the next step this year, and he can play a little bit more on the outside. If he can do that, he can be a big player for us. Mullen, I expect him to be, he's a steady Eddie, man. I don't see him being a big flashy guy, a huge playmaker for us, but I see him being a steady guy, and you need those guys as well. A good player, but not necessarily like a playmaker, a top player guy. Mayock, that's why I want to pair Mayock with a solid, like a playmaker safety to really show him how to be that playmaker. I think there was some plays left out in the field last year that he could have made some more plays on balls. He wasn't thrown to a lot, but he did break up a lot of passes, but we need him to go up there and get some of those next time. Carr was better than Wilson last year. He was. Wilson also broke a finger on his throwing hand, which is, tough. Herbert is a way better runner. Yeah, they each have their positives and negatives, man. Let's see here. Would you trade Carr for 2 first-round picks and 2 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson? No. I wouldn't trade Carr and 2 ones. That's too much. If you're already getting your franchise quarterback back, a piece that you want to build around moving forward, Carr's only 30 years old. He's going to be 31 in 2023 season. He's not an old player. You still have a lot of tread left on that tire. And he's from the Houston area. He was born around that Houston area. His brother played for the team. You could talk about, all that, face of the franchise stuff. You're getting something back for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be here. He has a lot of baggage. You don't give away 2 ones and a starting quarterback, and a legit starting quarterback for a starting quarterback. You just don't do that. Hopefully Hobbs is not in too much. Man, in college, he couldn't cover a bed. He didn't do too bad this year, man. He did a lot better this year. I will agree. Let's see. Wilson has a better team than Carr while he was winning. Apples to apples right now. I believe Carr has the edge slightly. That is. I think they're about the same, man. But the thing is think about it this way. The reason why I'm so concerned about Denver going forward is if you put Carr on Denver last year, that's a rough out for anyone. So that's basically what happened is they got basically Derek Carr on their team. A winning quarterback, a tough quarterback, a smart quarterback, a quarterback that can make all the throws. Until last year, a very durable quarterback and a heady one, one who plays, not only has talent, but also plays the position well. Let's see here. What I do that? Yeah, because you're not giving up. It's not you doing it. It's not your team. Would you give up? You wouldn't give up Mahomes in 2-1s for another player. You have your starting quarterback. Now I know that they're not the same level player, but you're getting a starting quarterback back who's a top player in the league. You don't give up that and 2-1. I don't think Deshaun Watson is that much better a player than Derek Carr. I just don't see it. I would give up maybe if I had to, if I was like, well, we're gonna have to trade for Deshaun Watson and you're gonna have to give up Derek Carr in a pick. I would give him Derek Carr in like a second. I wouldn't give him a first round pick. A second, something like that. Like, no, you're getting a quarterback back. Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play there. He's got, some the legal trouble hanging, making your franchise look bad. I don't think that Mark Davis is going to roll with that. I think that he's really big on a couple things, and one of them is, treatment of women and domestic violence. So, let's see here. Let's see. I just got here. I missed a bunch of it again. Damn it! Please know that I love. Yeah, I appreciate your passion. All right, man, Jeff. You gave it to me, man. Like you roast me in the sessions, but it's all good, man. It's all love. We all want the same thing. Would I trade Carr straight up for Deshaun Watson? The only reason I'm leaning towards doing that is because he's younger and he has a little bit more physical tools that are more conducive to where the game is going. He's a more mobile quarterback. He has, the same arm. Is he as heady? I'm not saying is he as smart, but is he as heady as knowing how to play the position? I don't know. But would I go straight up? I don't know, man. I don't know if I do that. That's raw. What do I want to trade Carr for Deshaun Watson? Not if he's going to miss games. We're in a win now mode, man. He's going to miss games next year. I wouldn't do it because next year we're not going to have him for the whole year. All right, let's see. Carr is quicker and faster than Mahomes. Mahomes just had a better coaching staff, far superior talent around him. The thing about Mahomes is he looks awkward when he runs. He's one of those awkward runners, like a gangly type of runner. But dude, it's hard to bring him down because his arm, he's always in position, and it's hard to sack the dude. Imagine Watson in Vegas with all that escort cards and they hand out on the street. Yeah, bro. Listen. He likes to sniff booties, bro. What's up? Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you're in Vegas, that's what they do out there. They specialize in all that. Raiders already turned down New England and watched the football team offering 2 number ones. Yeah, man. Let's see. I'm finding this quarterback talk boring. The strength of this team will come from being built in other areas. Sneaky beast. There's one thing that this podcast will never be, and that is boring. You, sir, need to find more ways to be entertained with this podcast. All right, what else? We're winding down here. Let's see here. Yeah, Watson suspended for 8 games at least. Nah, I wouldn't do it, man. You're in win now. Dude, we're in win now mode, man. How are we going to trade our quarterback and not have a quarterback for half the season? We got to win now, right? What's wrong with that? The lady at Subway was like, "Oh, this avocado has a brown spot." I'm like, "Bitch, I eat ass. Put that shit on there." Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Juan, you think Raiders exercise fifth-year option on Abrams and Jacobs? Abrams, no. I think that's too much. Jacobs, I think they extend him to make the cap hit lower. Nice hat, by the way. BF Boyd. Jacobs, I would keep if he's willing to sign for a lower deal and extend. But if he wants that top tier money, McDaniels has shown that he's not a one back system. He uses multiple running backs for multiple things. You don't pay a back like that a lot of money. He doesn't pay his backs a lot of money because he finds backs to do specific things. And if Jacobs can roll with that, great. If he can't, well, then that's, that's just the way it is, man. Abrams, you already know how I feel about him, man. Unfortunately, he could be a great guy. He seems like a real funny, fun-loving guy, but unfortunately, nah, man. Carlos and Fuego, are you bored, my good sir? Am I boring you? If they take Colton Miller team-friendly type deals, exercise a fifth year for Abrams and Jacobs. I'm really rough on the Abram one, man. Jacobs is going to be about $8 million, almost $9 million. It's just a lot for a running back, man. It's a lot for a running back that, he's a Pro Bowler. He's played well. He's good with yards after contact. He's good at making people miss, even with a bad offensive line. But you have to understand something. You have to understand not just the player, but the scheme, okay? It's like you say, well, this is a good player. He was in the wrong spot. He got drafted to a bad team, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So it's not just the player, it's where they're playing and the scheme that they're in. McDaniels would name me a time that he had a bell cow back in New England. I don't think he's ever had a bell cow back that he's used for like a 3-down back. He may have had a 2-down back or a back that he gave a lot of carries to, but he uses multiple backs and he uses a strict 3rd-down back a lot of times, even if it's not a 3rd and long situation. I'm not boring. I know that for sure. The main thing is this. When you use multiple backs in your system and your history is known on multiple back system, you're not going to give a single back a ton of money. You're just not going to do it, especially with the backs that are out there, especially with the backs that are in the draft, look what happened with the Ravens last year. They picked up guys off the scrap heap, and they were able to get guys that were, maybe not game beaters, but those guys were still scoring touchdowns. So Latavius Murray was out there, still scoring touchdowns. So I have a rough time giving him in the type of system that we run now. If you were like a bell cow system and you needed a bell cow back, a guy that's going to, okay, and you had a good offensive line, okay, I can see giving Jacobs that kind of money because that's your offense. If your offense works off of multiple backs, I don't know, man. I don't think it's for me. Yeah, he was a 2-down back though, my man. Corey Dillon, yes. The Garrett Blunt, yes. But look, guys, they were 2-down backs. So you're going to give $8 million to a 2-down back. That's what you're going to do? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. All right, guys. Almost an hour and a half. I appreciate you guys. Again, I can't say this enough. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your haters. Tell your neighbors. Tell your mamas. Do what I do. If you see someone with Raider gears on, say, nice hat, nice shirt, nice sweatshirt, man. Go Raiders. Hey, you follow the Windbags, follow the Windbags. Who do you follow? Who do you listen to? You got to get on these Raiders content guys. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, man. Graphic, freaking Sanjeet, Raider Films, Tape Don't Lie. Like, pump everybody up, man. We all got to go straight to the top, man. Pharaoh, everybody, straight to the top, man. Everyone needs to go. Mahalo, baby. Everyone needs to go, man. Everyone needs to go up to the top. We got plenty of fans. We have plenty of people in Raider Nation to make sure we can get content out there. Everybody out there, man, I appreciate you. Keep giving the love and support. Me and RJ, we both feel it. We want to make sure that we make this content out for you guys. New stuff coming up, a lot of good stuff coming up. I want to make sure that you guys know how much we appreciate you guys, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. And above all else, go Raiders.